had always dreamt of a happy marriage and of a home filled with love, laughter, and respect. As a little girl, she had seen how her parents lived. Her mother and father were partners, friends, and true companions. They worked together, made decisions together, and most importantly, they respected each other. So, when she met Oliver, she thought she had found the same kind of love. He was handsome, gentle, and full of sweet words. He knew how to make her laugh and how to make her feel special. He even promised her a happy life, and she believed him. She trusted him. But the moment she stepped into his house as his wife, everything changed. Lizzie was barely a week into marriage when she noticed something strange. Oliver was not the man she believed she had fallen in love with. Suddenly, he stopped coming home early. He would go out at odd hours and come back with the smell of cheap perfume on his clothes. He became cold and distant, and sometimes, when she tried to hold his hand, he would pull away as though she was a stranger. One night, Lizzie gathered courage and asked him, "Oliver, why are you always coming home late?" Oliver, who was lying on the couch scrolling through his phone, did not even bother looking at her. He scoffed. "Are you my mother? Am I a child that you will question my movements?" Lizzie swallowed it. "I am your wife, Oliver. I just want to know." Oliver cut her off with a laugh. "And so what? A man cannot enjoy his life again. If you don't like it, pack your things and leave." Lizzie froze. Leave? Just few weeks into the marriage? That was when it dawned on her that she had married a man who was not just a womanizer, but also a heartless one. And to make things worse, he had a solid supporter, his mother, Madame Agnes. If Lizzie had thought that Oliver was her biggest problem in the marriage, then she was wrong, because Madame Agnes was a bigger one. From the very first day she visited, Lizzie knew she was in trouble. The old woman had barely stepped inside before she started giving orders. "Lizzie, have you swept this house today?" Lizzie, who had been cleaning all morning, wiped her forehead and nodded. "Yes, Mama, I have." Madame Agnes looked around, and her face was full of disapproval. "You call this place clean? Did my son marry a lazy woman?" Lizzie was shocked. Lazy? After she had been on her feet since 5 a.m. She wanted to protest, but she stopped herself. She had been raised to respect elders. However, Madame Agnes made it hard. She started coming to the house more often, and whenever she came, Lizzie became a servant. She would sit comfortably on the couch, watching TV, snacking, and making mess on the floor, while Lizzie cooked, washed, and picked up after her. As for Oliver, he would go out to chase other women, while his mother ensured that Lizzie never rested. One day, Lizzie summoned up courage and tried to talk to her mother-in-law. "Mama, Oliver is my husband. Can't you talk to him to stop?" But Madame Agnes cut her off before she even landed. "Stop what? My friend, shut up. A man is a man. Oliver is not a small boy. He can do whatever he likes." Lizzie looked at her unbelievably. "But Mama, I am suffering. I need my husband." Madame Agnes laughed coldly. "Look, your job is to take care of the house and give me grandchildren, so stop complaining and focus." Continued to endure all the humiliation and insults from both mother and son until their cup got filled. One afternoon, Lizzie was sitting in the living room with Oliver when Madame Agnes walked in with a young woman. This lady was beautiful, dressed in a tight attire and smiling shyly. Lizzie looked at them confused. Mama, who is this? Madam Agnes smiled proudly. This is Sandra. She is Oliver's new woman. Lizzie's heart skipped a beat. Excuse me? Madam Agnes kept on smiling as though she had done something wonderful. Yes, I brought her here to help you. Lizzie stood up in shock. Help me? Yes. At least now Oliver will stay at home more often because there is a side chick at home. You will get to see him every day. It is a win-win for both of you. Lizzie turned to Oliver, expecting him to say something, expecting him to defend their marriage. But Oliver grinned like a child who was about to receive a new toy. Mama, you have done well. Then, in front of Lizzie, he took Sandra's hand and led her into their bedroom. Come, let me show you around, he whispered to her. Lizzie felt her entire world collapse. She couldn't breathe. She turned to Madam Agnes with rage and pain. Mama, so it has gotten to the stage where you will bring a side chick into the house for my husband. For what exactly? Were you treated like this in your own husband's house? But Madam Agnes rolled her eyes as though Lizzie was stupid. Don't question me, little girl. Accept your fate. Then she walked away, leaving Lizzie alone in her pain. Lizzie felt sick. She ran to the back of the house and collapsed on the ground, crying her heart out. She thought of everything she had endured, the humiliation, the insults, the disrespect. And at that moment, something inside her snapped. She wiped her tears, took a deep breath, and smiled. I will not leave you, Oliver. I will stay and frustrate you and your mother. Since you don't like peace, then you will taste violence. And just like that, Lizzie's heart changed. That night, she made her first move. She packed her things and marched out of the master bedroom. Oliver was too busy celebrating his new relationship to even notice. Sandra, the so-called new side chick, was busy giggling and blushing at every word Oliver said. But Lizzie didn't care. She went straight to the guest room, shut the door, and slept like a baby for the first time in a long while. She would no longer have to worry about a husband, nor would her mother-in-law see her to enslave. No one would dare to disturb her now. She was free, and she would choke them with that freedom. The next morning, Lizzie was woken up by the appetizing smell of fried eggs and tea. She stretched lazily, taking her time. For the first time since she got married, she was not in any rush to get out of bed. Hey, what a sweet life, she said, smiling to herself. By the time she finally stood up, she was sure that the food would be ready. So she walked into the kitchen casually, pretending as if she was just passing by. Sandra was there, cooking like a good housewife. Without permission, Lizzie picked up a plate and started scooping the eggs like it was her personal buffet. Sandra's eyes widened in shock. What are you doing? She asked. Lizzie smiled sweetly. I'm taking food to eat. Sandra snatched the spoon from Lizzie's hands. This food is for Oliver. Lizzie laughed loudly. You don't know how this house works, do you? Sandra looked confused. See, you need to behave if you want to last in this house, so Lizzie warned. You are the new catch, right? If you want Oliver to marry you, you better play your game well. And I have a huge role to play in that decision. Sandra froze. Lizzie saw the doubt in her eyes. Then, like magic, Sandra stepped aside and let Lizzie take the food. From that day, Lizzie changed completely. She stopped doing anything in the house. She would not cook nor clean. Instead, she sat like a queen enjoying the show. And the best part of it, she turned Sandra into the new housemaid. Lizzie would call Sandra, randomly giving her tasks. Our wife, come and wash these clothes. Our wife, fetch me some water. Sandra was